Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. You know what? I've got a lot to celebrate this weekend. So excited to be doing it with you. It's the big 7-0. It's the birthday I've been talking about for a year. You know, I always have a theme for my birthday, and this year I thought, what rhymes with 70? Well, not much, but I thought, what about identity at 70? And so honestly, my grandchildren are the ones that have helped me create this theme and idea. You know, when I was a little girl, there was a show called Kids Say the Darndest Things, and we used to love to watch it as a family. So I've thought, what would my grandchildren have to say about me one day? What are some of the things that they're going to learn and remember about their Granny V that could be part of what I do this year in celebration of my 70th birthday? So we're going to do smells, ingredients, and decor as part of what we're doing today. I'm also going to be taking you through the story of how my career got started back in 1984. We're also going to do two great recipes. My pot roast recipe that'll be in the next cookbook, and then an Amaretto layer cake that I'm going to have for my birthday this year. So we've got a lot to do. I'm ready to tell you a little bit about my story. So it all started in my home kitchen in 1984 when I decided not to go back to the classroom as a home economics teacher and start my own catering business. In 1993, I decided to diversify the company, so that's when I came up with the idea for my mail order division, and in 1993 we shipped our first cake. It just so happened in 1995 that a member of the Southern Living editorial team received a cake in the mail and brought it to the break room at work. The next thing you know, I'm featured in Southern Living magazine, and we made a sale in every state in less than 10 days. By 2001, people were saying, is all you sell cakes? Well, in my store in Augusta, we sold casseroles as well as spreads and salads. So in 2001, I added what we now call gourmet to go into our mail order division. By 2002, here I am looking for another way to diversify, so we decided to open up a cafe and sell sandwiches, soups, and salads from the line that we sold through Gourmet to Go. Well, 2 years later, we need to diversify again. And I thought, well, you know, I could go back to my home economics roots and do a camp in the summer to teach children how to cook. By 2007, I was looking for other mail order companies that could potentially put our products in their catalogs. And over the next few years, I made a partnership with Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, Costco, Bloomingdale's, and HSN. By 2010, I was ready to get on the Food Network, so I started sending demo tapes, and one day I got a call asking if I would be considered an expert on carrot cake. Next thing you know, Bobby Flay is in Augusta, Georgia. I'm challenged to a throwdown, and the rest is history because I beat him that day. By 2011, the VeryVera Show was founded, and we premiered on WJBF in Augusta, Georgia. 3 years later, we ended up in syndication, and our first market was WSAV in Savannah and then WRBL in Columbus, Georgia. The next couple of years took us to the award ceremony in Atlanta for Merit and Gabby Awards, and we were really thrilled to receive those a couple of years in a row. By then, it was time to look for a sponsor, an overall sponsor for our show, and Sub-Zero Wolf & Cove jumped in to take over our kitchen and provide us with great appliances and a wonderful partnership. Cooking Camp then became franchised, so before you knew it, we had 6 franchise locations. In 2018, I thought, you know, it's time to let go of these recipes I've held very close to the vest, and I decided to write my cookbook with every recipe that I sold through the internet and in my catalog over all those years. The rest of our journey included adding more markets to the television show. We added more locations for our camp. We also celebrated in 2021 our 10th season with the show and our 300th episode. So where does all of this come from? It comes from the fact that I've always been a big dreamer. And that's not going to change at the 70-year mark. My plan is for the new cookbook to launch this spring. The anniversary of our cooking camp will take place this summer with 20 years. And you know, the third cookbook's got to be right around the corner that the children will enjoy. So after the break, we're going to get to the kitchen and make that pot roast, and you're going to learn a little bit why smells mean so much to me. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, I'm celebrating a very special birthday, 7-0, and I'm so glad all of you are with me. I hope you enjoyed my story and how I created this career and what my next part of my career is going to be. So we're doing two of my favorite dishes today. The first one is the pot roast, and it will be in our new cookbook. Coming into the house and knowing that a pot roast is for dinner is the greatest smell ever, and I'm sure you will all agree. So I had a little bit that I had to do in advance. So the pot roast itself, I love to use a bone-in pot roast, and those are not always readily available in the store. So if you're planning your meals, you might want to ask your butcher to save you back a bone-in chuck roast to make this recipe. It's fine with the one that doesn't have the bone, but I prefer it. I've sprayed my roasting pan with cooking spray. I went ahead and put the roast in the pan. Then I'm using an envelope of Lipton onion soup mix, covering the entire top of the roast with that. And then, you know, your good old Campbell's cream of mushroom soup certainly comes in handy, and I've spooned that over the top. Now for the vegetables. We're gonna do carrots that I've just cut into bite-sized pieces. Then I've got mushrooms, Vidalia onions, cabbage, which might be something a little different, and then finally celery stalks. I don't put potatoes in mine because my family loves mashed potatoes with this dish. All right, so once that's done, you cover it with heavy-duty aluminum foil, put it in a 325-degree oven for approximately 3.5 hours because this is about a 4-pound roast. So now I'm ready to take the one I've already done out of the oven, and believe me when I tell you that smells was defined by this dish, it's the truth. All right, so just be careful when you lift that aluminum foil off of the pan because all of that steam is held under that aluminum foil. So kind of do it away from you. That looks awesome. All right, so now I'm going to take the roast out and just put it on this platter. And just look at there, it's just falling apart. Just like we want it to. So tender. I think my two sons could eat this between the two of them. All right, so now I'm gonna get my vegetables out and just look at all those delicious juices that I'm going to make a gravy out of. So this is why, you know, it's honestly a meal in itself because you have all of your vegetables, and I just love the way the cabbage does it here. So if that's new for you, I hope you'll try it. And as always, our recipes are available on our website at VeryVera.com. And I'd love for you to put some comments there too about, you know, what you think of the recipes that you try on the show. And the mushrooms turned out really good too. I don't even parboil the carrots because I really like the little bit of crunch. All right, so I'm gonna pour this into my, missing mushroom. I'm gonna pour this into my saucepan. That's gonna make a really great gravy. All right, and then my slurry is just water and flour. So I'm gonna mix that up with a spoon. And you know, the smell part of this is so important to me. And of course, you know, you have to kind of think in advance if you're gonna do a pot roast because having your vegetables cooked and all of that is important. But for us, a lot of times as a working mom, I didn't have that kind of time. So my other go-to was a frozen chicken pot pie because those smelled really good too. And I had a little song I would do, you know, chicken pot pie and I don't care. But the favorite saying in my house was, coming in from school, Mom, is that a roast? And they still say that. All right, so I'm gonna keep working on this gravy during the break. And when we come back in Vera's Corner today, we're gonna go over refrigerator tips. And then I'll get started on my birthday cake this year, which is an Amaretto layer cake. See you back in just a few minutes. Vera's Corner is brought to you by TaxSlayer. Do you spend way too much time trying to remember what's in your refrigerator and even more time trying to find it? Well, today I'm going to give you some quick and easy tips on how to keep your refrigerator clean and organized to save time, stress, and even money. The first step is to take everything out of your refrigerator so you can access what you already have. Go ahead and give your fridge a nice cleaning while you're at it. Don't forget to look at the expiration dates. Line your drawers with dish towels or paper towels for easy cleaning. Keep your fruits and vegetables in their designated drawers. They will last longer as your veggie drawer is calibrated for higher humidity to keep your greens from wilting, and your fruit drawer is to have lower humidity to slow down rotting. The exception, strawberries will actually last longer in the veggie drawer. Next, lay your deli meats and cheese in the middle drawer. Put your raw meats on the lower shelf to keep any juices from dripping on the rest of your groceries. While organizing your snacks, invest in clear plastic bins to easily see what you have and to save space. Keep your leftovers neatly on the middle shelf so you always remember what you already have on hand. Lastly, keep a notepad near your fridge so you can easily jot down what you need to pick up the next time you're at the grocery store. Use these tips to make your kitchen more organized and efficient. Start free today at TaxSlayer.com. Welcome back, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed Vera's Corner. You know, organizing the refrigerator is probably about as much fun as organizing the walk-in closet, but we all need to do it from time to time. Check those expiration dates. All right, so the Amaretto layer cake. Almond is probably, when we start talking about ingredients, almond flavor, almond nuts are just my absolute favorite. I love that flavoring. And as a little girl, I always had the German chocolate layer cake for my cake, which was highly unusual for a child to want a cake like that. And so as I've grown along the years, and as I'm celebrating a big birthday, that almond flavor is so appealing to me. So this is the Amaretto layer cake, and this is a cake that we did exclusively for Saks Fifth Avenue. Through the years, for those of you that have followed these catalog companies for years, Neiman Marcus was the premier catalog company that had food in their catalog. And I reached out to them first, and I kind of got looked over. So Saks was in the process of beginning to add that to their line, and they adopted this cake that we presented to them. So I'm really was excited about it. All right, so this has some unusual steps in it for all of you bakers. First of all, you start with stone cold butter. So when you put that in your mixer, it is gonna, it's really gonna shake about. So get it a little creamy before you start adding your sugar so that everything doesn't go all over the kitchen. So that's part of it. The next step is the fact that you're gonna then cream that for 20 minutes. So you're gonna think that's a typo, but it is not. The next thing about the recipe that may be unusual to you is that you have preheated your oven to 275. I don't know of any other layer cake I have ever made that the temperature is 275. So this bakes slow and long. All right, so the 20 minutes is over. I got that done. So now we're gonna add the eggs, one egg at a time, just to get those mixed through. And again, I love the larger bowl that you can get for your KitchenAid mixer for the purpose of things like when you've got a lot of batter or you're mixing up cold butter. And having your eggs already cracked in a measuring cup. Many times, if you'll go ahead and set up your ingredients the way I set them up to do the show, you're gonna find that you enjoy the process a lot better because you can just be in your one little area. All right, so this is what we called in the bakery cake base, but it's essentially white cake mix. So it just adds a different component to how this cake comes together. So you won't use the whole box, but the recipe will tell you exactly how much to use. All right, so now my wet and dry, and I'm gonna start with dry and then go to wet. This is cake flour, baking powder, and salt that I have mixed together. So I'm going to start with a little bit of that. And then the next ingredient is buttermilk, amaretto, vanilla flavoring, almond flavoring, and butter flavoring. So we're going to add those in. So that's nice and thick because of that good old buttermilk. Again, we did buttermilk as an ingredient this season. I said the last thing I want to do is drink it, but I love to cook with it. I also got my pans prepared, my 9-inch cake pans with my parchment circle. And if you don't have parchment paper, you can use wax paper. And then I sprayed them with my Baker's Joy. So while the cake was mixing, the butter and sugar was mixing for 20 minutes, I went ahead and made my icing. So let me tell you a little bit about that. So that is butter, and it can be room temperature. And cream cheese that you also want to have at room temperature. See what I mean about the flying dry ingredients? You want to have that at room temperature, and you want to just let it mix really well. Then you're going to add in your amaretto, your vanilla flavoring, and your almond extract to that. Beat that up, and then my tip on getting that confectioner's sugar incorporated is to use a plastic to-go container that you might have for when you've ordered something. Wash that in the dishwasher, and then you can just squeeze it to add it. All right, so I've got a little bit to do. I'm going to finish this batter, get it evenly divided between the 3 pans. When we come back, we're going to be testing that pot roast and slicing my birthday cake. So don't go away. I'll see you back in a little bit. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you so much for celebrating my birthday with me today. My actual birthday is the 21st, so it's coming up this weekend. I'm so excited, and hopefully you have got some new recipes that you're going to try in celebration of my birthday. So, you know, I started the show today by just talking about my theme for the year, which was Identity at 70. And the whole thing kind of has evolved around what will my grandchildren say? And you know, hopefully it'll all be nice things, but there are a few things that have to do with smells, ingredients, and decor that I hope that my grandchildren will remember. So first and foremost, they always know that Granny V is going to set the table. No matter what the occasion, the dining room table is going to be set. There are going to be place cards. There are going to be flowers. Napkins will be folded different ways. I think they really, really love that. And then at Christmas time, I collected nutcrackers for my children and my grandchildren. So they all have their nutcrackers displayed in their homes, and it's just really a fond memory. We also celebrate going to the nutcracker together, and this particular year, my granddaughter Lucy was the bunny soldier in the nutcracker, which was great. And then finally, this is one of my little discipline things, but you have to eat at the table at Granny V's. So they've learned how to, you know, sit at the table, use their silverware properly, and we just always eat at the table when they come to my house. So let's talk about the first dish we made today, the pot roast. Just fell off the bone, so tender. The vegetables are perfectly cooked in the length of time on that slower oven that we cooked it in. Looks beautiful on the platter, looks even better on the plate. So I can't imagine somebody turning down this meal. Just delicious with some mashed potatoes, and the gravy that we made from that was so good. All right, so then next we had the layer cake, the amaretto layer cake that was made exclusively for Saks. So people in our local community, unless they ordered it from Saks, they didn't have this cake. They couldn't come in and buy it in our store. So this, you know, I made the cake today. It's so delicious, but I want to talk about the icing of the cake. I always freeze my layers before I ice them. I always do a crumb coat, which is just coating all the layers really well with the icing, and have a little bowl there so if you do get some crumbs in the icing, you can get rid of that before you finish. And then finally, the kitty swirl. And I've done this so many times on the show now. I certainly hope some of you are maybe trying your hand at doing this technique, but it's just taking about a tablespoon of the icing, going up on the sides and covering your crumb coat, and then putting a lot on the top and then making that beautiful flower on the top. It's just so attractive. So what have I got going on in 2023? You know, I'm celebrating my birthday. I'm also celebrating the fact that our new cookbook is coming out. The pot roast recipe will be in there, but remember, all of our recipes are always on our website at VeryVera.com. We're also going to be celebrating the 20th year of our summer camp. In 2004, it was just a little idea I had to make some extra money in the summer. Now the camp is run by former campers. Some of the campers are junior and lead counselors. It's just a wonderful program. So, you know, as I always say on the Very Vera Show, no matter what you do, do it in good taste. I hope you'll come back and join me again next week. And I'm going to have a great birthday weekend.